With the Warriors in hot pursuit of Kevin Durant before tomorrow's trade deadline, we have an update from ESPN insider Brian Windhorst on what exactly could go down before noon Pacific time on Thursday. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, guys, I got to mention to you that we're going to be live on the channel for the trade deadline. This thing could come down to the buzzer for Golden State, whether they trade for Durant or whether they make another move. I think it's going to come down to the final couple hours, and we will be live on the channel for it. So make sure you are subscribed and turn your notifications on so when we do go live, your phone will get an alert that we are rolling. So make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you tomorrow on the trade deadline live. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a quick recap from yesterday's news because I put out a video and detailed what this kind of fast-moving cycle of rumors and reports are coming out about Kevin Durant. And the big one that was weird to me is that Durant was ruled doubtful yesterday for tonight's game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then following that, all of these rumors started coming out about Warriors being in pursuit and really taking it seriously, the Suns being serious about listening to offers, and the Mavs and potentially even the Rockets in hot pursuit of Durant as well. And according to Sports Illustrated's Chris Mannix, he says that Phoenix is quote-unquote strongly considering Durant offers. Now, this is a long ways from what we heard on Monday from Jake Fisher when he said that Phoenix was just considering or at least listening to offers. No, now they're seriously considering it. And the report that we got from Grant Afseth yesterday of Dallas Hoops Journal is that he says sources tell him that it's increasingly likely that Durant goes to Golden State. So a lot of moving parts right now, and it really feels like the Golden State Warriors have a good shot at landing Durant in a trade if Phoenix and Durant himself are willing to make the move. Here's what Windhorst had to say on Get Up this morning on ESPN. He said, so now we have the Warriors and Suns discussing the possibility of bringing Kevin Durant back, okay? I'm not going to sit here and even begin to project or guess as to how this may go down. Is it possible that Kevin Durant could be traded to the Warriors? Yes. Will it happen? I'm not afraid to say I don't know. Interesting. He didn't say that there is a very low likelihood of it happening. He didn't say there was a very high likelihood of it happening, and he didn't say anything concrete. What he did say is that both owners, Matt Ishiba of the Suns and Joe Lacob of the Warriors, are both very aggressive in their pursuit of improving their rosters and making themselves competitive in the Western Conference. More from Windhorst here. He said this is potentially a 3, 4, 5-team transaction. Whoa. It could involve like a dozen other players because that's what the nature of the way the NBA trades work. It could involve Jimmy Butler because it is possible, guys, that the Suns could acquire Jimmy Butler, but not for Brad Beal, but for Kevin Durant. So after a month of trying to pair them together in an elaborate way, being traded for each other now. This is insane. Like, imagine how the Suns feel where Bradley Beal is no longer declining or no longer willing to move, and he's not going to waive his no trade clause. This is absolutely insane that Bradley Beal and the Washington Wizards a couple of years ago could be holding up the possibility of Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, and KD all playing together. And Sam Amick of The Athletic, who kind of came out with that bombshell report last night about Golden State being likely and really pursuing Durant and the Mavs and the Rockets as well. He said this on Run It Back TV this morning on FanDuel. He said, there were moments last night where I thought this was actually going to happen. I mean, guys, we're not in the joking around stage anymore. This isn't a hypothetical. This is a legit thing that both sides are talking about at this point. Now, the reason that they haven't gotten to that point yet of actually hitting the send button and sending a trade to the league is probably because, well, it's going to be a high price tag for KD. And obviously with him making $51+ million, you're going to have to give up a lot if you're Golden State. Not only just salary-wise, and for a player of Durant's caliber at this point, heavy draft capital. According to sources, the Suns have only presented the Golden State with a quote-unquote exorbitant price, taking everything of future value, all their good young assets now, and future draft capital. So it's going to take a lot, and both sides are going to keep going back and forth. Hopefully something gets done before the deadline because Steph and KD reuniting in the Bay would feed families and give Golden State's best chance to compete in the Western Conference. But predict it for me. Will Golden State trade for Kevin Durant before this deadline is up? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Make your claim right now. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Players that could be involved in said Durant trade. Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, Schroeder. you get a good couple of young talent here from Golden State that a team like Phoenix would want long term. We've heard reports that they are interested in Jonathan Kuminga and building something with him long term. We've heard about Matt Ishiba's relationship with Draymond Green, both being Michigan State alums, and how fixated they are on him as well. But we always keep hearing about Andrew Wiggins potentially moving in one of these deals. And we've heard about a 3-team deal with Wiggins going to Miami, Butler going to the Suns, and Durant going to the Warriors. So that's all possible as well. And then you have Dennis Schroeder, who's now eligible to be traded as of today with his $13 million expiring salary. Things could start moving very, very quickly as this day goes on and as tomorrow ramps up. So make sure you are subscribed for all the updates. Brian Windhorst, further on Get Up this morning, he said, quote, tomorrow afternoon. He said this is the only thing that he can say for certain. Tomorrow afternoon, Devin Booker will be on the Suns and Steph Curry will be on the Warriors. After that, I can't promise you anything. And for months, right, we thought that the only two untouchables really on Golden State's team, even though Lacob talking about the young talent being untouchable over the summer, what a clown. Draymond, we thought was not going to be somebody who would be moved, but Windhorst didn't say that. He said 30 is the only one that will be on the Warriors, guaranteed by the end of tomorrow. So coming up next, we have more on Kevin Durant, on a Kevin Durant trade, got a trade idea and who might be getting sent away. Plus, are 4 players on Golden State's roster not traveling? That could signal that they could be on the move. So we'll dive into that in just a moment. But first, I got to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform with over 10 million active members, including yours truly, because it's so fun and so easy to win real money watching your favorite sports. I'm talking up to 1,000 times your money playing Prize Picks. And they're always trying to hook you up with incredible deals, like a free $50 in your account when you place your first $5 entry after using our promo code CLNS after you sign up. And you might be asking me, Tyler, how do you even place this $5 entry? I want the $50. Well, you can get it, and it's super easy. Just pick 2 or more players, and just on any stat projections, they got a ton out there. Every sport, every stat, I feel like they make up stats at Prize Picks sometimes. It's that crazy. Just pick more or less on them, and you can watch the real money roll in real time. And it's not just the free $50 that they're offering you guys. For the big game this weekend, Patrick Mahomes, more than half a passing yard, they're giving you a free square. So if you pair this up with something else in the big game, or a basketball pick, or a hockey pick, or a college sports pick, or an esports pick, doesn't matter. You're already halfway to winning 3 extra money on Prize Picks. So take advantage of it. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. All that information is clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, this came from Jake Fisher yesterday, and I think it was pretty significant as to what we're looking at on a potential deal for Durant to Golden State. He says one reason for the significant uptick in Durant chatter, according to sources, is that trading him appears to be the only way for Phoenix to acquire Miami's Jimmy Butler before Thursday's deadline. Why would the Suns want Butler if they no longer have Durant on the roster? No one, asked by the Steinline, has been able to furnish a good answer to that question, but rumbles persist that a scenario that transports Butler from South Beach to the desert with Durant moving back to the Bay Area is indeed in play. Well, this is insane, right? I can't believe the Suns must hate Bradley Beal, man, honestly. And my whole question here is that the Suns have to decide on one thing. Would they rather have Jimmy Butler, or would they rather have the assets that we talked about yesterday in Draymond and Kuminga? Because there's reports that the Phoenix Suns ownership is fans of Draymond Green, and they want him in the building, and they would want him back in a 1-1, or maybe a trade that excludes the Miami Heat deal for Durant. Kuminga is another player that we've heard, according to Fisher, that the Phoenix Suns have their eyes on. So it's one of these situations where this could get really complicated, and I don't know what teams are going to be involved. But remember what Windhorst said: this could be a 3, 4, 5-team deal. That's a lot of moving parts, and we're going to try to put together an idea right now that could work, and it's actually insane. Let's just get into this trade idea. 5 teams. This isn't even our normal trade graphic because we can't even put 5 teams on the trade graphic for you guys, so I decided to make it a list. Here we go. Jimmy Butler and Lindy Waters III to the Suns. Durant to the Warriors. Julius Randle, Jonathan Kuminga, Kevon Looney to the Heat. Andrew Wiggins going back home to the Timberwolves. And then Buddy Hield heads to Detroit to play for the Pistons. This is a crazy trade. And I know Heat Report host Nick Roloff was absolutely in shambles when I showed him this because he said it would be straight CTE ball over in Miami. But at the end of the day, this could work. Like, this is something that Fisher is talking about. This is something that Windhorst is talking about. Amick, like, all these insiders are projecting that a deal that sends Butler to the Suns, Durant to the Warriors, and Wiggins to the Heat or whatever other team is definitely in play. So with that being said, would you guys accept this trade? Or keep in mind, Golden State is giving up 3 first-round picks in the deal. Obviously, the protection in the 2030 pick with the Wizards is going to go to Phoenix, as well as 2026 and 2028 unprotected first-round picks. So a lot of draft capital going to Phoenix from Golden State, but it might be worth it. Would you make the trade? Type A for accept, type D for decline. I'll drive those boys to the airport myself. Come on now. Are we serious? It's Kevin Durant. He won you 2 titles. 2-time finals MVP. It's KD. I'll drive Andrew Wiggins to the airport. I'll drive Jonathan Kuminga. I'll drive Lindy, and I'll drive Buddy Hield away. It's KD, man. And the chemistry that Steph and Durant have, it's undeniable. And what could come of that pairing could be very fruitful. The Golden State Warriors could. I was doing some mental gymnastics last night where different playoff scenarios could go down. If Golden State adds Durant, there's a good chance they could land themselves in the Western Conference Finals. Make no mistake about it. If you add Durant, you're competing in the West much more than you are competing right now. Hopefully, it goes down, but it's a very odd situation for Golden State. What crazy timing it is with the next 2 games being today and tomorrow, and the trade deadline is in between. They play the Jazz, they play the Lakers, and in between those games at noon Pacific time on Thursday is the trade deadline. So when they play the Lakers tomorrow night, it could be a really depleted roster out there. I mean, you could be missing 3, 4, 5 players out of your squad, and obviously Durant wouldn't be back in, or wouldn't be in the lineup at that point already. It could be nuts, and obviously Warriors would probably be chalking up a loss there unless Steph went absolutely hero mode. But I want to go to this from the Warriors Instagram today. Talking, because they're going on a road trip here. I know they're going to LA. It's still far enough from San Fran where you got to fly around and do all that stuff. But they're going to Utah today. And they put out 12 series of photos in an Instagram post of players on the roster. Here's Steph departing on their flight. 4 players were not included on that departure post. Here they are. Andrew Wiggins, Buddy Hield, Kevon Looney, Lindy Waters. They combined for a salary of $45 million, and 3 out of 4 of those players are guys who we just discussed being a part of a 5-team mega deal that sends Durant to the Bay. But we can't look too much into this, right? Like, they're all still going on the trip, but it is interesting that they didn't post them, and the salaries combine up to not something that would equate to Durant, but something that would get damn close. What about this post here about the game day post? So this kind of takes Buddy Hield out of the equation, right? Because he's on the game day post. I don't think that's the case either, but it is interesting that they didn't post him in that, and then they put him on the game day post. I'm trying to do a little bit of detective work right now as to what Golden State is looking to be giving away, or what could be in the framework right now of a trade. Here's Anthony Slater about the injury report for the Utah game tonight. He said Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins are both probable tomorrow versus the Jazz on the front side of a road back-to-back. Curry's not on the injury report. Kevon Looney's not on the injury report with his nasal thing he's got going on. Moses Moody is questionable. Warriors at Lakers Thursday night. Trade deadline in between games. This is getting crazy, guys. We are going down to the wire on this trade deadline talk in the pursuit of a superstar to pair up next to Steph. Who do you guys think will be traded away before the deadline? You tell me. I've told you who might be dealt in a potential deal for Durant, but you tell me. Who will the Warriors trade away before the trade deadline tomorrow? Let me know down in the comments section. If you guys hear anything about the Warriors, you'll find it first on my Twitter. Hit me up at SmittyFCS, trying to build a little bit of a Warriors community over there. And before we go live tomorrow, you guys better make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We'll be live on the channel 3 hours before the deadline. Cannot wait. Hopefully Golden State makes a big move, and hopefully you guys ride along with us for the rest of the season. If you're a diehard Warriors fan, you're going to love what we got going on here at the channel. So hit that sub button. We'll see you in the next one. Turn notifications on as well. Let's go Dubs.